Hello YouTube, my name is Nero and today we have some Call of Duty World at War and another episode of Dear Nero, which of course is the series here on my YouTube channel where subscribers send me in fan mail and or fan questions, and I do best going to answer them. Now, this episode is going to be a little bit shorter than you may be used to, and the reason why is I have so many other videos to work on today. Of course, Modern Warfare Remastered's campaign release for PlayStation 4 pre-order, guys, just yesterday, and so of course I'm trying to play through that and make many videos on that, and there's other videos I need to make in regards to Modern Warfare Remastered. There is just so much to do today, so this episode is going to be a little bit shorter, but we still have a number of great questions, and let's hop into it with the first one, which is going to be coming in from Kareem on Twitter, who's going to write, Dear Nero, how can I avoid hackers/mods on Call of Duty 4 because I want to play normal matches? Well, Kareem, there really is no secret to it. It all comes down to whether or not you get lucky, right? So previously, I didn't run into hackers whatsoever. I never saw them. And then when World at War became backwards compatible on the Xbox One, for some reason, after everybody kind of migrated over to World at War on the Xbox One, suddenly I'm finding more hackers on Call of Duty 4. It may be because there's less people on that platform now, but I'm running into a couple of them. Text on the screen, people jumping super high and getting on top of buildings, people not able to die, so on and so forth. And the best advice I can give is just back out of the lobby and find a different lobby in a different playlist. Like, for example, if you find somebody in Domination, you get into a lobby that's all modded, just don't play Domination. Go to Team Deathmatch, go to Ground War, go somewhere else, because chances are that guy's infecting everybody else. And if you do get infected with a mod, like a mod that happens in one game and then you go to another game and that mod is persisting, then just go back to your dashboard, like take out the disc, put the disc back in, and that's going to kind of like hard reset everything, and then you'll be good to go and try finding another lobby. The next question is going to be coming in from Michael from the Music City on YouTube, who's going to write, Dear Nero, do you think that allowing specific YouTubers to play and record COD games early ruins or heightens the hype for the game? I miss the mystery that would come with every new game's release. Nowadays, it seems like we know almost everything about the game before it even comes out. What are your thoughts and opinions? Well, Michael, I would say that's a pretty fair assessment, honestly. I do remember when I was first getting into Call of Duty, and specifically, like, in my head, I can remember the hype for Modern Warfare 2. That game had a lot of hype behind it because COD 4 was a great game, and for a lot of people, it was a 2-year game. A lot of people skipped World at War because they didn't like the style of game that it was, and so when Modern Warfare 2 was announced, there was a lot of hype. I can remember going on YouTube and trying to find leaked footage of the game, which there was some, like, low 360p quality, and just looking at the weapons, trying to look at, you know, what there was to find in the game. And that's a lot different compared to now, where we know every single perk in the game, every single weapon, every single rig. Like, we know almost everything that there is to know about Infinite Warfare at this point, and we're only going to learn more when we can actually play the beta. I will say, yeah, that it does kind of ruin the hype for the game, but at the same time, it's kind of nice to have an idea of what to expect going into it. And if you're somebody that really doesn't want to know, you can just simply tune out of this stuff. Like, it's not like you're required to watch people's YouTube videos, especially when they're clearly titled and tagged and have thumbnails and stuff like that saying this is going to be happening in Infinite Warfare. Click here for more information and stuff like that. You know, just don't watch those videos, don't read those articles, and you can try not to spoil things for yourselves if you guys don't want to learn about the new Call of Duty game. But for me personally, I've gotten to the point where I like knowing more about future Call of Duty games rather than having it all just be one giant mystery. And of course, a big part of that is the fact that I am a YouTuber and it's kind of my job to give you guys that news and information. The next question is coming in from the Sadistic Scythe from Ireland, who's going to write, Dear Nero, I was curious to know what you look back on as your best year on YouTube in regards to the games you made videos on or your videos in general, not for the views or revenue or stuff like that. So that's a pretty good question, honestly. And after thinking about it for a while, I think my favorite time on YouTube was probably when I was just starting NerosCinema. It was right towards the end of the Black Ops 1 life cycle, right before Modern Warfare 3, and there was just so much hype for that game. And I was also playing a bunch of other games at the time, like Battlefield 3 had just come out, and I was making videos on that. Gears of War 3 had just come out as well, and I was making videos on that, even though I'd never played Gears of War. And there was just a lot of hype going in to Modern Warfare 3, and then a couple of my videos very early on in Modern Warfare 3 blew up views-wise, and then I got partnered that January with Machinima, and that's what really started everything here on YouTube. So that was like a really fun time for me in my YouTube career. Was my channel when I first started it, then leading up until Modern Warfare 3, then having a couple of videos explode during Modern Warfare 3, then getting partnered, and of course turning this into a career. Like, all of that happened at around the same time, and so that was probably my favorite time on YouTube. Although that's not to say that I'm not enjoying myself on YouTube these days. I'm just saying I really had a lot of fun getting everything started and just being new to everything, because at the time, like, it wasn't normal normal for me to make a couple of videos in a day. It wasn't normal for me to be at my computer almost all day, every day. Like, it was just, I was new to it, right? And so it was like experiencing this YouTube thing for the first time, whereas now I've been doing it professionally for like 5 years. And so it's not the same as, you know, the first time I started getting into YouTube or anything like that. The next question is coming in from Riley from California, who's going to write, Dear Nero, I play football at my high school. Currently, I'm failing Spanish and have 2 D pluses in my classes. My mom and dad are breathing down my neck to catch up and do my missing assignments, and my mom will take me home before practice to make me do them, which makes my coaches angry. So now I have my mom, dad, and coaches breathing down my neck, and it's built up a lot of stress. I'm thinking of quitting after my season to focus on school. Should I? Well, Riley, my advice is you just need to buckle down, man. There's no reason why you should have to pick between sports and grades. I mean, there's plenty of people. Almost everybody that plays sports also has to maintain their grades. That's just part of doing it. In my high school, if your grades were below a certain threshold, you actually weren't able to play sports. And so you kind of had to make sure your grades were in line. My advice is you just got to buckle down, man. You got to find the time to study and find the time to do your assignments. Now, whether that means play less video games, watch less YouTube, whatever it takes, make sure you do your assignments, because school is incredibly important. And if you really enjoy sports, that's also important too. So you want to do that. You don't need to pick between the two. Just find some time elsewhere to finish up your assignments and to study and try to get your grades up. That's what it comes down to. But if you're having a lot of stress and you're not really enjoying football, but you're just kind of there to do it, maybe that's not the sport for you. I can't quite say, but my advice is buckle down, try your best, and you don't have to pick between sports, leisure time, and school. You can kind of like make them all work together. It can be difficult to find the right balance, but you can definitely make it work. The next question is going to be coming in from Matthew from Los Angeles, who's going to write, Dear Nero, recently there's been a lot of hate for Infinite Warfare, and it seems to be continuing. People are complaining about it not being boots on the ground, and people are getting tired of it. There have been 2 Call of Duty games that have had thrusters, about to be 3, and there have been 10 Call of Duty games that have been boots on the ground. Do you think that if Call of Duty originally had thrusters and wasn't boots on the ground, that people wouldn't care as much? I personally think if thrusters came first, people would be hating boots on the ground and would want it to go back to thrusters. Well, I think that's a pretty fair assessment, Matthew. I really do. And the reason why is when people decide that they like something, they want that thing to remain pretty similar to what it was when they first started liking that. Like, if you started liking Call of Duty back in Modern Warfare 2, you're going to want every future Call of Duty game to be roughly the same as Modern Warfare 2, because that's what you signed up for. A boots on the ground style Call of Duty, maybe with a heavy focus on kill streaks. Like, that's the kind of game that you like. And when they start changing Call of Duty to allow you to run on the wall or be able to double jump or be able to slide and stuff like that, like, it's a lot different than what you had originally, and people are like, can we just go back to what we had originally, because that's what I like the most. The same can be said for music. If you start liking a band and you really like their style of music, but they start going in a completely different direction, like let's say they're a rock band and they decide to move into more jazz or something like that, then you're gonna think to yourself like, why are you changing? I liked you before. I don't like this new thing. The same can be said for other video games as well. I mean, if you're a fan of Halo and suddenly they decide to remove jumping and make it like a pure Call of Duty boots on the ground style game, that's a lot different. If you're a Gears of War fan and you like that style of game, but they decide, you know what, we're making the transition to first person only, then you're like, wait, what? Why would you? That's not what I signed up for. And Civilization, a game that I love. I'm so excited for Civ 6. When they made the transition from Civ 5 to Beyond Earth was just way too different. It wasn't enough like Civ 5, so people stopped playing it and they went back to Civ 5. Same could be said for Call of Duty World at War with tanks and stuff like that in there. People didn't like that, so they went back to Call of Duty 4. It all comes down to what you personally signed up for. So I can definitely understand why people are upset that Infinite Warfare is going to have an advanced movement system, and I agree with you. If Call of Duty originally had thrusters, then people would want the game to continue to have thrusters, because that's what they signed up for originally, but that's not the case. Call of Duty was originally like a World War II game that was very gritty and very boots on the ground, and it's kind of making a transition away from that, and fans aren't exactly excited about that. The next and final question for this episode of Dear Nero is going to be coming in from Dark Falling on Twitter, who's going to write, what Call of Duty campaign did you play the most times through? Mine was World at War. probably did it 3 or 4 times. So Dark Falling, mine was definitely Call of Duty 4 because I originally beat the COD 4 campaign on like my original Xbox account, and then I got a new account and I thought to myself, well, I want the gamer score, right? So I played through the game again, and I did that for multiple accounts. Then of course I went back and beat the game on Hardened for the extra achievements. Then of course I went through and beat it on Veteran, and to this day I have all the gamer score for the game as well. So I played through that campaign, I can't even count, many times. Definitely several, like more than 2, but probably not like a ridiculous amount or anything like that. And here I am, of course, playing Modern Warfare Remastered, playing through pretty much the exact same campaign again, but remastered. And yeah, so I've played through that story many times. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is going to conclude this episode of Dear Nero. I hope you guys all enjoyed it. If you did, please drop me a rating. And if you guys would like to submit your questions for the next episode of Dear Nero, simply send me a personal message here on YouTube, or alternatively, you guys can tweet me on Twitter at NeroTweets using hashtag Dear Nero. But stay tuned, ladies and gentlemen, for more videos going up on my channel later on this evening. And I, once again, just hope you guys all enjoyed. Drop me a rating. Hope you guys all have a wonderful day.